Can you see me?
Yeah. I can see you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Mehak, for accepting my invite and gracefully coming for the show as well. Well, I just want to give an introduction about you for my viewers. So please stay online. By the time I will complete all the introduction, right? Okay, so moms, I'm back again with yet another amazing episode of Super Moms Unleashed. And I think women have incredible personalities in each of them. They have all the tools, strategies, tactics, and techniques to ensure they pursue their dreams as well. And also, they take care of their family life in a very powerful and graceful way. And with that being said, if I'm going to do this show for another 10 years also, I'm going to have enough number of guests inspiring us with their own life stories and letting us know that women have all the power in the world to lead the life of their dreams without any compromises, even when they are handling too many roles and responsibilities in life. So, with that description being said, I have a wonderful guest today who have a similar personality with a similar kind of a description. Mehak Arora from Punjab. She is a doctorate in clinical psychologist. She is a woman with a wonderful power balance in her life. All right, when I say power balance, moms, why do I say she's a woman with power balance? And she has ensured to live her dreams of holding her doctorate degree in her hand when she's a new mom and with having a tiny soul in the other hand and then a doctorate degree and pursuing her dreams is like amazing, right? It needs a different level of commitment. It needs a different level of love and grace to ensure that she is doing it with all her love for both of it together, balancing both, right? So she's a woman with 6 national publications and 2 international publications on on mental health as well. So I'm really delightful and happy to invite this amazing, inspiring personality to our show today. So come, let's hear a lot of inspiring life stories from our own words today in our show. Thank you so much, Mehak, for coming for the show and gracefully accepting the invite as well.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, literally a pleasure to be there and speaking on this thing that I've never spoken of, my journey. Yeah.
Okay, super. I'm so happy about it, Mehak. So the first question to you will be, how did you so when did you get this doctorate degree?
Okay, I got this doctorate degree 3 years back. Okay, and I completed this degree just after my daughter came on this universe, and just the same year I had to submit my thesis, and submitting the thesis and the end of the thesis was a big task. Yeah. So
Yeah, definitely. Because having a tiny soul needs 24 hours support for the soul as well, right? For this tiny baby. And with that, having a thesis itself is another baby, right?
yes,
You need to invest so much of mental energy into it, and then only it is possible for you to get a PhD degree as well.
absolutely.
So, how did you manage both of huge tasks together?
Okay. See, to begin with, as you said, thesis, PhD, psychology is my baby. I always say that it's my first baby. When I came into this field of psychology, I don't know what interest and how I got into it so much that I actually, it's very easy to say that something that you are passionate about, but considering something as your part of your life, something you're like, as you say, a baby, a little thing in your life. And my PhD introduction has the same thing. The preface says it, that it's my baby, it's my first child. So I was very passionate about psychology the moment I came into touch with this subject, and I knew that this is my subject. Now, when I thought of having a baby, my own baby, so that was a point of time that I had divided my work from the very beginning. After I got married, I knew that the thesis takes minimum 3 to 4 years. Okay, it can go and
Right.
on and on. It can go to 9 years, 10 years. But I was very sure that I want to complete my thesis on time, as well as I want to not affect my family and have a family life also on time. So
Amazing.
yes, and I was literally clear with this thing, with this thought process. So after 2 years of my marriage, how I managed was that I kind of completed my the data work, the field work. I had 500 adolescents to be dealt with. So I completed my data work on time when I was in my marriage hold and when there was no baby around. But they say that in PhD, in thesis, the major work starts after your data work has been done, and the last phase of PhD is the most intricate part. But then I can rest assured that what that phase has taught me, nothing could have ever taught me. My daughter used to now how I managed to coming to your question is how I managed that point of time. See, there was a time when I used to be. I won't say that that I was very positive all the time, or being a clinical psychologist myself, that I was never into tears, or I never felt devastated or frustrated or irritated. Obviously, when marriage is not a big deal, but marriage has a lot of other things around, like baby, your family. When you have to cater everybody, not because when you have family around who is supportive, who you want to give them back as well. So
Yes.
the thing is that my mind frame from the initial beginnings till the time my baby was there with me, I was pretty sure that I have to do this thing. PhD has to be done. PhD has not to be affected. It won't be affected anytime. So my daughter used to sleep at around 3 a.m. in the morning, okay, because that was at a point of time she was hardly 8 9 months old when my last phase, I'm talking about the PhD thesis. So she used to sleep at around 3 a.m. and then it was my husband who used to look after her, and I was in the guest room doing my thesis from 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. So sleep was gone. You have to sacrifice something to gain something. And sleep, I was one person who was such a sleep struck. Like I used to take naps in the afternoon. I used to be very particular about my sleep, that I have to take an 8 hour, 9 hour sleep. But then I also never had discovered this part of me, this within the sleep factor of me. So yes, but again saying that the goal was in the head. It was constantly there that I have to complete my PhD in 4 years. I won't take any extension. I just took, I remember I was suggested a bed rest, so I took a 6 months extension, whereas, people used to take 1 year extension, 2 years extension. But I knew that if I took a year extension, that would come in my own head that, abhi to 1 saal hai, so I am at ease. But I
Mhm.
was very sure to, the whole thing
Yeah.
was in my system that I have to do, I
Right.
have to complete. And so I used to be in the guest room, do my work, then get back, sleep for 2 hours, 3 hours, and then again look into the baby in the morning hours, and the night part again was PhD. So yeah.
Oh, amazing to hear your story, Mehak.
Yeah.
Actually, moms, from your story, what I have learned is it may be because of the level of clarity that you had towards your
Yes.
goal, and that helped you, motivated you, and gave you the commitment, right? And
Yes.
even though you love to sleep, you ensured that you slept very less, because
Yes.
that is the only thing that you can forgive at that particular point of time, and to ensure all your goals are met. So clarity is the power, right? Because of
Yes.
the clarity and your end result, you are very clear, this is the end result, this is the time period, within that time have to ensure that this is done. And just because you had set that frame right, you were able to run like a horse, very
Yeah.
graceful and powerful horse, and then get that done for it. Right. Superb.
Yeah.
Superb. So you spoke about your husband and supporting you, right? So towards this period, for almost 1.5 years to 2 years, being a new mother and doing the PhD work also, apart from your husband, who were all your support system? What kind of emotional imbalances you went through? Because hormonally also mothers will have such imbalances, and we will be having some freaking situations within ourselves and from outside as well. That's how life progresses. So how did you manage all of that with
Okay.
the support systems?
Right. See, without support system, I don't think my PhD would have been possible. Because even if those 2 hours or 3 hours or 5 hours my baby was managed, I used to do my work. Because in the morning hours when she used to sleep, I used to make sure that when she is sleeping and my husband was away that point of time for work, so I was pretty sure that I have to utilize that time. I told you I had. Completely made my mind that I have to forego the sleep factor to complete my other things. So there was a time when I had to report to the university also to because there was a thing that after I think after my 13 days my daughter was born, the 15th day I was in the university, and I used to that support system. It's very important that you have a sensible support system. So my mother, I cannot, I really feel short of words when I have to describe my mother, my husband, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-laws. I cannot, tell you that how blessed and lucky I am, because they also knew my aim. They knew my goal was to get through this, that she is going to get it, because after all they knew that it is my baby, it is my passion. So they were there for me. Those 2 hours, 3 hours, they used to take care of my baby, and I used to be there for my thesis. I used to visit university. Sometimes even my supervisor was supportive enough that she used to tell me to send stuff on the mail. But then to send stuff on the mail, you have to work, right? You have to get onto your laptop and you have to type things. And I typed my whole thesis on my own. I never took the help of any typewriter or something, because once you have your passion, once you have your goal, that is, I somehow sometimes when I felt that point of time that I was being very cranky, my child is not there were times when I used to feel very low also, when I was I had those shades of gray also, I had those feelings of frustration also. But then my sitting before the laptop and typing my work was my coping strategy. So it is very important. All the mothers, who have a newborn child or who do not have a support system around, like all of us, you know, the clarity of your goal and keeping your goal as your coping strategy is the best tool anybody can have and can go through all the things that you have. So after I became a
Yes.
mother, there were times I used to feel low, but then the goal it never went away. That was always on the head that, I have to do it on time. I won't take more extensions. Any which ways, it's important to let your support system know how important your goal is. That is the thing. Suppose you have a
Yes.
support system who are not willing to understand you that particular point of time, you should have that thing in you to make them understand that why this goal is as important. And wherever I face challenges, and I'm not saying that I did not face challenges, there were times I faced challenges from within my support network also, but then they have to be made realized, and that's what I did. I made them realize how important this PhD is, and what my future is going to turn with all of this. So that was the thing.
Right,
Yes.
right, right. I understood. I understood.
Yes.
I just want to I just want to go tell the same thing in my own perspective, so that it adds more add power to your words. So mothers who listen it, they can connect easily with our sentences, right? So all that I understood from this particular situation, and is maybe that at your clarity with taking 100% responsibility to connect with your support system, let them know why it is important for you. It will help them to understand you in a better way. Even the worst enemy with who is around us would want to help us if we are opening our heart, telling what is our problem and how are we requiring their help and support system in our life, right? So
Yes.
when an enemy is ready to help, our support system will definitely do some sort of help. So that is the driving force should be within us, and we should ensure that we communicate way better. And also the second thing which you told us is have your own and goal itself as your coping strategies, which means
Yes.
what, at your me time, right? So my
Yes.
me time, I need not, I always need to go for a cycling or a tea when I have a bigger goals. I can also do that when I have a leisure time. But then when I have a very limited time, I can do my own book work writing itself and as my me time, me strategy, right?
Right.
So right. Okay, thank you so much. It was really a wonderful learning for us, all of us here. Okay, so my next question now to you will be: you are into a lot of NGOs, and you are talking about the mental health and emotional well-being also. And for almost 6 years, you are into multiple and you are meeting a lot of different people with respect to emotional health problems.
Yes.
Now, please let us know in a few information or situations from in a few cases or information from them, like what kind of emotional imbalances mothers face, especially mothers,
Okay.
right, face, and what kind of a solution that you can give. You can also relate that with this COVID situation so that it will be really helpful for all of us here.
Right. See, whenever a lady becomes a mother, okay, that it's not that people have made it a notion, but it's a reality, and I can say that from my personal experience, your whole life changes. After marriage,
Correct.
things don't change. After having a baby, things change. That's what I feel,
Yes.
and I can
Yes.
very surely say that. So after you have had a baby, and we have had, we name it in clinical terms. We name this term as postpartum depression. You
Yeah.
must have heard this term. This is a very common cliche words that people use. So, what exactly is a postpartum depression? Whenever a new mother comes into being, sometimes they are not able to cope up with the situation around. Like they are not able to, as I said, sometimes they don't feel like sacrificing their sleep factor. Sometimes they must be having outings, and that gets hampered for like 40 days in the Indian period that we say. Okay, they get into that phase of lowness and sadness, and they feel that their own personal life have got hampered with their family, with their husband, etc. There are many things to add. So we have in the clinical setup, such type of cases are really common, that postpartum depression cases come up. But believe me on that these phases are extremely temporary phases if you are willing to speak about it. Until you don't speak about it, why do I say in every webinar, in every seminar, or in every conference of mine is that it's very important to speak out. I in the previous question when I was telling you that why it is important to tell your support system that a particular goal is important, the whole thing is speaking about it. So, if you speak about an issue, okay, that you are facing, it's important to share your emotions, be it positive emotion, be it negative emotion. What we do is we give space to our positive emotions, and we negate the, sorry, there was an error. So we negate the negative emotions, and we do not want to be into that.
We do not want the world to know about our negative cries, or we always see the whole everybody is like happy, only me crying, like that sort
Yes.
of thing.
So, am I audible?
Yeah, you are, please continue.
Okay. There was a disturbance around, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, we have to understand this thing. We have to understand this thing that we have to have a support system.
Mm.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you
I don't
are.
know. There is a lot of disturbance around. I'm getting my
Is
whole
it?
thing again.
No, it is okay for us. Maybe you can unplug your headphones and then replug it again.
I'll do that. Yeah, now it is okay.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
please continue.
So, so postpartum depression cases they come up. So it is very important whenever a patient like that, they come up to us. The only thing we tell them is to share your emotions, to share your thoughts, to share what you are feeling. And as you said, making me time is very important priority in life. It is very important to, to have your own time, to take time out for your own self-care. Uh, Chores will be never ending, the house chores will be never ending, but it is important to not get drained, to not get frustrated in those times, and then come out with the things. So whenever such cases come to us, if emotional turmoil, that's what we suggest them, that you have to standardize your routine. You have to make a me time for yourself. There are so many coping strategies, that people enjoy, that women enjoy. For example, if going out for a walk for 15 minutes, 20 minutes on your own is helpful to you and with your favorite music, that is your me time. If sipping a cup of coffee and talking to your best friend is your me time, the ultimate focus is not to get away from your other life as well. Whenever a new life comes in, we know that it's going to be there, but don't get affected with your new life.
Right.
Keep that focus on. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So at everywhere, the self-love is really important, and the way that we communicate to our people around us is extremely important. Only these two will help us survive all the tough times. This is with respect to new moms, Mehak. And how it is with the mothers who have 10 years old children, teenagers, and during this COVID, they in most families, no, even their husbands won't help, their teenage kids will not help, and that's how somehow they'll be feeding so much of self pity to themselves because of very less support system, and helpers are not turning up during this time. So how do they ensure to get good mental self-help for themselves during this time?
See, the thing is, when we talk of the COVID times, okay, it is very important, again, the same thing, accept then act.
Right, very true.
If you're not wanting to adapt to a new situation, if you're not wanting to accept the situation, how will we keep you, or how will we suggest you these strategies to, act to that thing? So similarly,
Correct.
I was into these seminars during my before the COVID happened. I was conducting seminars, I was going on the conferences, etc. But then the goal was then and now, the goal was to talk about mental health, to spread a word about mental health as much as I can. So see, the goal was the same, and now the whole thing is that everybody is into webinars. We know virtual medium is the only thing by which you can reach to millions of people. And initially even I felt, because I do my clinical counselings, and I used to feel that how will I tackle a counseling on the virtual medium. I was in a fix. But then once you start into being, once you know that ultimate focus has to be mental health and talking about people and helping them out, so virtual was the medium. So that's how it happened.
So acceptance is the fundamental
Acceptance
thing.
and then
If I'm
acting.
not,
Yes.
yes, if I'm not going to accept that this is my situation, my timely situation, if I'm not going to do that, I will never find solution to it, right? So COVID has happened is happened. Now what next should be the next course of action, right? So that comes only when with this acceptance. Right. And how did this international paper publications and national publications happened? And after, along with this motherhood, can you
Yes.
please throw some light on that as well?
Yeah, sure. See, writing has been my passion. I was always wanting to write, to conduct, right? More than, I think why I chose to be a clinical psychologist was because I know I can impart the things that I've learned. So even before PhD happened or I went into psychology, writing has always been my passion. Reading has always been my passion, and writing it for the journals. Once the paper got published the first paper that got published in the International Journal of American Psychology, you cannot believe that was like I was top of the world that day, because that is one that is one dream in my bucket list that got fulfilled. So once that gets fulfilled, then you have the urge to not stop back, and that's how
Correct.
the whole things started. And now I feel, during the COVID times, I'm writing again a paper now, the international one. So I feel blessed to have had this time because the clinic was not giving me much time. So I feel there is something positive about this time as well.
Right, right. I've been hearing about this wish list bucket,
Yes.
Mehak. I think that is what is driving you as well, right?
Yes.
Now, mothers, I think all of us should have this wish list. Only then, when we accomplish one task in our life, it gives us motivation. Oh my God, even irrespective of all my situations, I had done this one thing in my life. So if I can do this thing, then I can do
Yes.
anything else also. That drives us, gives us that crazy push to ensure that we keep motivating ourselves and doing better and better and better every day, right?
Yeah.
So that is what
See,
is the
we
learning.
always think about the things that did not happen to us. We never
Correct.
think about the things that happened to us, that
Correct.
have been right with
Gratitude.
us. So that is why it is important to make a gratitude list, to have your happiness toolkit with you and use it when you need it. When you are low, when you are sad, when you are frustrated, use that toolkit like you use your safety box whenever you are ill. We have the safety boxes at home. Similarly, have your toolkit ready, that when you are low, what are the things that is going to make you happy.
All right. Yeah, sure, Mehak. And most of the very big question in every mother's head is they are unaware of the emotions themselves. Okay, they are unaware that they are angry, they are shouting at their kid, and because of that, it is creating a trauma inside them as well. And might be the root cause is somebody else. Might be the root cause is their husband or in-laws or some other personal problem also. But then the ultimate person who's getting affected is their children, and they have the responsibility in bringing up the next generation really well. But then in India, most of the times and we get stuck on all the emotional traumas ourselves, and we imbibe the same also, we put the same fire also into our children. So for such mothers, the awareness itself is not there. And what is that you're willing to tell them from your own experiences?
Right. See, basically the thing is that it's a psychological fact that from the high outlet you put your anger to the low outlet. That, for example, if I am being scolded by my support network, be it anyone, my husband, etc. Okay, generally women, what they do is that they would tend to put it on the lower outlet, that is their children or their helpers around, to such people around, they would tend to flow that emotion. So similarly, that child also will catch that emotion. Okay, what you can do is that when you are angry or when you are low, I would suggest is that please give yourself a space, take your
Right.
me time, get your me time that point of time. Like suppose if you are low and you are frustrated and you know that the second person you're going to meet, you're going to be putting all your anger on that person. So instead of that, take your space, take your own time, start reading. For example, I love reading. I would start reading. I would want my child to be with my helpers around or with my social network around and just get my space. Okay, and then take care of my child. So that's how mother can do. At that point of time, just space yourself out. Do something that excites you, that helps you out, that brings your energy back, and then get back to taking care of your child and your family. It's important
Right,
for
right, right. First,
yourself
give
to be
awareness to it
having
that
that
you
time
are
for
angry.
yourself.
Right, right, right.
Yes.
Right. Whenever you are low, give awareness that you are not going to put the same fire inside your baby. Take your own me time. And for me, I
Yes.
think one of the self help tool is sit, talk to yourself. Talk to yourself, like self talk. That also sometimes help. Maybe it helps to understand what has happened. Neha, how you on the line? What is that she was talking is all about cleansing yourself, moms. There are situations that a lot of times we get mental traumas, and we don't know, and without awareness it all happens. So when such things happens in our life, we have to ensure we take excitement that helps to cleanse ourselves so that we can move better in our life in the next minute. We are not anymore hooked up to the situation outside, right? I think Mehak line is lost. I will invite her again. Just give me a minute. Um,
Yeah. Am I audible and visible?
yes, you are audible. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Just a minute. But I'm not. This is,
Your volume is less though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a minute. I'll just fix this. Now am I audible?
No, not that louder.
I think now
Yeah.
it will be.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's okay.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you so much. And so, yeah, I was just summing up whatever you have told us, maybe the tools, the me times that we have to take to ensure that we are no more hooked up to the negative situations or the people, and we cleanse ourselves before we attend our next, before we attend our kids, right?
See, the thing is, to add something, whenever failure strikes in, okay, whenever failure from any side strikes in, it's natural to feel demoralized. It's with everyone, not just with one person or with other person. But what is the difference between an emotionally empowered person and between a normal person would be that you have to give yourself an instant motivation boost at that point of time. But that's the only difference. If you are
Correct.
able to tackle your emotions that particular few seconds or minutes, you are done with the things. You won't be affected in the similar manner when another failure strikes in. So instant
Right.
motivation boost is the whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Neha. That really helps for sure.
Yes.
And when I talk to a lot of mothers, being a life coach myself, when I talk to mothers and when I try to coach them, the first thing they ask is, "I'm too much worried about the judgments. And what will others think if I go and ask for help? Will they really treat me in a right way, or will they take me for granted? And what if I simply go and say sorry to my in-laws all of a sudden? And will they think I'm doing it out of guilt, or I'm doing it to make them feel even more worse, or something like that? Everywhere they have this judgment problem. Everywhere they have this ego problem with respect to asking for help and all that. So, what is that you are saying to those kind of mothers? What kind of tools or strategies that could really help them in this perspective?
Right. See, to everything, everybody would have something or the other to say. For example, I would just give you my example from my motherhood. I was in the university, and there were some network of people in my own arena who said that, how can she step to the university on the 15th day, when her daughter is just 15 days old and she is stepping to the university. Nobody knows your story. Nobody knows how you are going through your goal, how you are surpassing your goal. Nobody knows your story except your social network, except your support system. One,
Correct.
do not get carried away by the people. See, we cannot tell anyone to stop things, to stop getting judgmental about us. They would get judgmental in any which ways. You have to change your own thought process, that so and so people I know are always on my, the way we have happy bucket list, similarly that's what I tell my patients, we have a critic bucket list. I
Hmm.
know, because and they are the similar lot of people, who are always going to say things about you, who are always going to criticize you, who are always going to be judgmental about whatever you do. So you have those particular people, and they are doing their own job. They, what are critics meant for? You have, see, when we talk of English literatures, or when we talk of anything, any kind of arena, we have critics everywhere. So similarly, accept the fact that you have critics in your life, and they are going to speak about you any which ways they are going to speak about you. My purpose is not to get affected from the critics. Accept it that these people will be speaking. When I am doing something, I know in my mind that so and so people are going to be criticizing about the whole stuff. So it's okay, I know that is their job, and kudos to them for doing that job, that they're criticizing us. So accept it in a very positive manner, that so and so people are going to be judgmental, but that's okay. I have to be intact with my goal. Accept
Superb,
it.
superb.
Don't run away
Well
from
said.
anything. Yeah.
Well said, well said. And I think self-criticism is really important, right? Whatever others talking about you is not important until what you are going to tell to yourself about you,
Absolutely.
right? So I think we should have our own self-defense mechanism using our optimistic thought process to
Yes.
ensure that we handle such people also around. Okay, okay, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much,
See,
Mehak.
it's
So,
not important to be optimistic all the time. That's one word I would never want anyone to use it in their vocabulary, because
yes.
we are not giving negative emotions time. You know, it is important to talk about your negative emotions. For example, if I am low and I am searching on a Pinterest site, so and so quote, and I'm putting it for myself, that's perfectly okay. So
Hmm.
accept both the negative, the positive, the critiques giving you low energies, but make sure that is not distracting your goal. Let the low
Right.
energies come, but you have to move on. So yeah.
Right. Let the low energies come, but let it not disturb you anymore. Let it be around you, but you
Yes.
be on
Yes.
your own. You know what
Yes.
you are doing, so you have your support systems ready. Right.
Right.
Super well said. Thank you so much, right, for all the beautiful learnings that we are having today from you, Mehak. And what is your key message for all the mothers here who want to pursue their dreams? And irrespective of all the roles and responsibilities they are handling, who are in their in their dream of becoming a super mom, being consistent with that and all of it.
Right. My first thing would be, and that is like your coping thing, a message, whatever you treat it as. One, expand your support network. Please expand your support network. It is very important to choose your support network. You know, it might happen that all the things or all the emotions that you are telling other person, it's possible that the other person is not worth your emotions. You know, be it one support system you have or be it a network of support system you have, it is very important to choose the right support system. So if you feel that at this point of time there is nobody who could understand you, then time to expand your support system. Don't get this feeling in your heart that, you know, oh, nobody understands me, nobody understands what I'm going through. There would be people who would understand you. The only fault or the fallacy lies in you not choosing the right support system for yourself. And that can be anybody, but choose the right one. Secondly, I would say that sharpen your own coping skills. It is important to understand that whenever a negative life event hits you, you have to sharp your own coping skills. Please do not be dependent upon, you know, be blessed that you have a support network. If you do not have a support network, I would say you are more blessed, because that is the time when you would be dealing with your coping skills on your own. So take time to sharpen your skills. I always suggest that to my patients also. It is very important to journal the things. Write down the things that makes you happy and use that toolkit when you need it. Okay? And try to understand also why others don't support you. Try
Correct.
to get yourself in that phase, that why they are not supporting you and how you can make them understand if you know that they are very important support systems for your life.
All right, well said. Empathizing is really very important, right? Right.
Yes.
We always see our pain as a bigger pain, but when we sit and ask them why are they not able to understand us, their pain will be even more big than us.
Yes.
So only empathizing in with others and seeing their way of approach and respecting that gives us even more better support system in our life. Correct?
Yes. Right.
Wonderful. Super. Thank you so much, Mehak.
Thank you.
It was amazing having you in the event and learning so many beautiful things about mental health, especially for mothers during this COVID time. I'm sure even you would have had a good time with us today.
I have had a lovely time, because, you know, I have never talked about my journey being a mother and how what I went through and how that gave me strength. So I am literally thankful to you to have made me, you know, given me this medium to show
Thank
my
you.
whole thing. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much. And it is really amazing to know that so many mothers across the globe are very open today to speak up
Yes.
their own life stories to inspire other mothers. Because the problem with mothers is now we don't speak up. And when I had problem as a new mother, and when I asked for everybody's help, they told it will be like that only. Don't keep speaking about
Hmm.
it. Either do it or give up. Many told
Right.
me to better give up so that you don't feel stressed, so that you somehow feel the happiness, but it didn't give me happiness. It instead made me even more feel worse. So
Yes.
I think it is high time mothers come out, speak up, get the help, get the experts help, and
Yes.
do great things in life, right? and
Yes.
and inspiring mothers like you and giving such wonderful learnings in social media platform is going to really help and inspire many mothers. Thank you so much for all of it.
Thank you. And unleashing super moms has, is this is also, I would say, a coping thing for all the mothers who need it. So
Thank you.
yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mehak.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And moms, if you have any questions to Mehak, please post it down. And she's also in our community. She will definitely respond to all of your questions. Thank you so much for listening to this video. Let's meet up in another amazing episode of Supermoms Unleashed. At signing off, with lot of love, grace, and power from Aishwarya and Mehak.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mehak. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.